What's up everyone, Acid Glow here. So I'm back on Doom Eternal with another video, and I have some interesting topics we can discuss together. Now I had a look at the voice files in Doom Eternal, and there's actually a few of them that are unused. A few sound files that I listened to are not heard in any scripted event or cutscene, which could be used to explain some events in Doom Eternal with more detail. Or perhaps these specific files are left in the game as unused data. It's not the first time a developer has left unused content within a game. It's happened throughout the course of gaming history. There are 3 sound files that I want to discuss with you. This is the first one.
I have access to the neural prime network of Makerland. I will mask your biochemical signature with one of their own. This may sting a bit.
Isn't it strange how Samuel Hayden can connect to the Fortress of Doom's mainframe, and now he has access to the Maker network? Even his robot body was said to be very alien-like by one ARC scientist. He seems to know so much history about the Sentinels, the Slayer, Argent Energy, the Conmaker, the demons. Everything. When he says, "I will mask your biochemical signature with one of their own," if he had genetic data from the Maker people, which one did he take it from? Well, when you're tracking the Conmaker on Urdak, the Maker facility voice says to you, "Welcome, Seraphim." What? Are you telling me that Samuel Hayden had genetic makeup of the Seraphim? Where did he get it? Did he find the body somewhere and it was never mentioned in the lore? Or did he get it from himself? Perhaps his body had the essence of the Seraphim sometime in the past? Maybe through absorbing its soul, through possession or something? I know, it gets really weird, but this is a video game after all. Doom has had a lot of occurrences where they talk about resurrection, reincarnation, corruption, possession, etc. What we know now might only be part of the story. There has to be some underlying information that ties this together. But just think about it. Where did he get a hold of this genetic makeup of the Seraphim? All that's left of Samuel's human self is part of his brain. So if he was, or is the Seraphim in some way, which a lot of people believe, considering how much evidence supports this theory, maybe he was able to extract some of that genetic data in his old body or from his brain. I'm just saying, it's really shocking that he said that. The fact that this file is in the game could mean it was planned for something, maybe as future DLC that could give us a better understanding to some gaps in the story. Okay, so let's move on. The next sound file says this.
You will one day need to return here, for this is now a place of evil. But first, the Icon must be stopped. The humans have no time left.
If he's mentioning the Icon of Sin, this could be taking place on Urdak. So let's try to understand what this could lead to. One day we will have to return here. Urdak is now a place of evil. Demons have entered this holy realm and the corruption is inevitable. If a future DLC has us coming back to this location, could that mean we will fight against corrupted or demonic forms of the Maker people? It's possible, but it seems like the story of Urdak might not end here. The last sound file that I want to look at is why the Doomslayer left Vega behind on Urdak. When Vega connected to the Urdak technology, he was supposed to open the portal, which would lead the Slayer back to Earth. Vega was left on the first console, and you don't see the Slayer pick Vega up. You would then continue to the second and third console alone. He would activate those rings and go back to Earth.
Vega, you will remain here to keep the gate open.
This unused sound file tells us why Vega was not recovered. Apparently, the first console required someone to keep it active. You couldn't just push the button and move on. So after the mission was complete, Vega was left on Urdak, connected to its technology. There's actually multiple versions of a few lines, so maybe the unused files were just copies, and they chose one that sounded the best. Perhaps the files we looked at now, well, they might not be part of the expanded lore and just be files they did not want to use. But again, they could also be used for future downloadable content. I cannot give you a definite answer to these files. I just wanted to discuss them as they did open up some ideas within the story. Alright, so let's move on to the next topic. During the campaign of Doom Eternal, there's a spot in the cultist base mission where you come across this. It's a skeletal figure that is chained to an object. Its arms are stretched out, tubes digging into its skin, and its lower half is missing, with only the torso appearing to be ripped open and its organs leaking out. There's nothing mentioned about this creature, unless I missed it somewhere. It's actually not the first time these figures are shown. If we look at Doom 2016, the multiplayer map called Boneyard has a similar figure as well in the distance. These beings are chained up, maybe even tortured over time. This one's lower body is missing, possibly melted away from the hot liquid beneath it. It's a similar situation as some of the Titans we see in Doom Eternal. Despite their large size and power, the Titans are still chained up and tortured by an evil more powerful than others. Hell is definitely a place of pain and suffering, even to the demons. The design of this four-armed creature is very similar to something from the Doom RPG game. It was released in 2005 as a mobile game for phones. The story takes place within a research station on Mars. A crisis occurs when an unknown force attacks the base. A distress signal is sent out. You are then sent in to gather intelligence and neutralize the threat. You would meet Dr. Gerard, and he would assist you during your mission by opening doors to help you progress through the game. But if you compare the design of this character, it's very different from a standard scientist. It just seemed a bit odd. One scientist within the base would tell you there was a conflict between Dr. Gerard and Dr. Jensen, and he does not trust either one of them. This stems back to when Dr. Jensen saw Dr. Gerard stealing vials of Hydrocon. Lab audits had shown they were losing a lot of their supplies. Dr. Jensen did report this incident, but nothing was done about it. One of Dr. Jensen's logs say he was fired for something he did not do. He believes he was set up and tries to find out who did this to him. You later find an email sent to Colonel Graf from someone named Kronos. This person gets Dr. Jensen fired because he's become very troublesome. The Marine gets a message from Dr. Gerard later in the story. He says, "I have plans for you, Marine. Meet me in the reactor." Dr. Gerard meets you in a hallway and shows us his true form. He is Kronos. He says you're too late and his creation will soon enter this dimension, which is the Cyber Demon. So the reason I bring up this game is because Kronos has a similar design to the creature in Doom 2016. They both have 4 arms with a skeletal figure. Only half their bodies are left over, and bones are seen from their head. The same thing could be said for the figure seen in Doom Eternal. All 3 of them share similar design features. Kronos could have just been an inspiration for the other 2 demons. And let's not forget, the one in Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 are much bigger in size. Alright, on to the next topic. Some art pieces within Doom 2016 were drawn up by Emerson Tung. He did some fabulous art that was placed in the game, like the engravings of the Knight Sentinels marching to war. But one of his art pieces caught my interest. A knight, which could be a sentinel, is depicted holding a very unique weapon, the demonic crucible. Now, why is a knight holding this weapon? I looked in the multiplayer map called Argent Breach on Doom 2016, and you can see these figures as statues, but the crucible is replaced with a standard sword. And that's not the only thing. There's something else that's different here. A mark or symbol is placed on the chest of one statue, but not the other. You can also find engravings of the demonic crucible in the same map, but you will also find one with the same symbol as one statue, and another crucible engraving without it. The symbol on this crucible is the same one that's placed on one specific statue. Well, it does resemble the mark of the Slayer, which could mean that these sentinels were the ones who sided with him during the Civil War. But here's the strange thing. Why is the mark of the Slayer on the demonic crucible? Do you see how things fit together, but then it leaves you with more questions? It's such a big mystery. Emerson also had an art piece of a character named as the Priest. Could this be linked to the prophecy saying a priest would be consumed by the crucible?
Yet even as the truth fail levels in the spawns of this war, another
Well, it's a possibility, but since one statue's crucible got replaced with a normal sword, I wonder if the priest was also replaced by another character for the sake of the story. Because this is concept art, many things could have changed during the game's development. The priest seen in the art piece could have been replaced by Samuel Hayden later in the story. I say this because I've never seen a statue of this priest in Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal. The mystery does not end there. I examined the priest a little bit more and I found this. If we look at its face, take a look at its teeth, and in front of its feet you can see the image of a demonic skull, and on either side 2 winged creatures. Okay, so this figure might be a demon. What's the point? Well, look at its chest. This symbol here is what you see in many places of the Sentinel cities. You can see them on windows, wall textures, and banners. But it brings up the question, why is a demon-like being bearing the symbol of the Sentinel people? Do you see how this is getting mixed up? I mean, look at him. His entire design looks demonic, not like a sentinel. I looked in the comment section of this post, and someone asked about the language of the Sentinel people. It's something that I find really interesting. Emerson did respond with this. It's a made-up language I made for the game. But I'm still curious if there was any way to translate the text he made up. Is there a meaning to anything he created, or is it just meant to give that impression? I don't know. The last thing I want to bring up is this. I noticed the Spider Mastermind from Doom 2016 does look similar to the Conmaker in Doom Eternal. They both have similar teeth structure and an exposed brain. That's really the only similarity I can see between the two. It's just a small thing, and it could really have no connection, but what do you think? I know a lot of this information can give clarity to some part of the story, but at the same time, it can leave us wondering why some things were changed, and if there's a hidden meaning behind anything. But I'd like to know if you have any ideas yourself about all this information. Just share it within the comments section. So that's it for this video. If you have any theories about these topics, I'd like to read them. If you want to see more videos around the Doom universe, then all you need to do is subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. This way you don't miss a video. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.